Good morning. This is day one of the quarantine, and I woke up today at about 7:45. It is now 8:01. The reason I woke up was because food came, and as soon as they drop off the food, they actually ring the doorbell. Prior to that, I actually was sleeping. I am a little bit sleepy still, so we'll see how this jet lag thing hits me. I would say the big thing about jet lag, particularly for me, is that it hits me if I don't start it well. And yesterday, coming to Korea, it was so stressful and long that I think I was able to spend all my time outside and in the sun, as you should be, and exercising, because I was walking quite a bit. And walking is no excuse for like high intensity training or anything, but it is a form of getting your body to move. And for someone that was more like a homebody that would just stay inside all day, that was a lot of work. And I mean, I definitely sweat yesterday when I was at least at Incheon Airport, trying to get everything in order and running from one place to another, to the point where I was worried that maybe my temperature would be too high, although that was explained in the last video that it was just fine. Because of kind of that situation, I went to bed last night at midnight and I was exhausted, and it's 7:30 and or 8 o'clock, as I said, I'm still sleepy, which that's a good sign. Yeah, let's go ahead and crack into this breakfast. I'll go ahead and get things set up, and I didn't film me actually grabbing the bag because I just did it groggily. I just realized that. I just grabbed it and put it on the sink, and then I'll be back in just a moment. Let me go grab the bag, reset up the camera, and then we'll get going from there. And I'm back. It must not look like much of a change. I couldn't imagine. All I did was move the camera back a little so I could fit this tiny table that they have. And I went and grabbed the food. So I think my room started with less water than I was supposed to. They announced at the intro when we entered that there'd be 5 bottles of water for us provided, like large bottles. I only had 2. I've already drank 1.5, so I'm gonna call down to see if I could get some more. But anyhow, so I've opened the bag, and this first item is we have some oranges, apples, grapes. Looks like cheesecake. I don't know how to describe it other than that, but it's purple. So there's that. There is a bit of soup in here. And you know what? Grab a secondary camera. Alright, we have the soup, and I guess I should have opened that first. Being that I only have 2 hands. Oh, that smells like potato soup, and looks like potato soup. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll find out here in a moment. And then this next thing is a sandwich. It's all in Korean. Gotta be a good way to start learning the language, right? Or at least how to read it. Yeah, no, I got nothing. When I crack it open, I'll film a little closer on it and put the overlay right here so that you can see what it actually looks like. And then sweet, 1 bottle of water, 2 bottles of water, and apple juice, hard-boiled egg. Let's see, can I? Right there. Looks like a instant coffee, and then Roaster's Choice Nescafe. Either another instant coffee or creamer for coffee. I'll put the 2 together just to make sure I don't mess that up. I actually brought about 200 ounces of instant coffee with me in a bag, as well as 250 ounces of fresh ground coffee in a bag. And then, oh cool, mugi cha, or well, I believe mugi cha, brown rice green tea. If that is wrong, I don't know how come it's not focusing on it. But And then a spoon and a fork, and that's it for today. The only add-ons that I'm gonna do is from last night. I did the bread, as well as this like dessert. So let's go ahead and dig in here. Since the soup is the only thing that's really hot, I think I'll start with that. Oh, I just realized there's no salt and pepper for the egg, although that's not really that big of a problem. That's more of a me issue rather than a them issue. And I realized I had an extra packet of salt and pepper, 2 extra packets of salt and pepper from the airline yesterday that I should have just grabbed and brought with me. Anyhow, let's start with the soup because this is the only quote-unquote hot thing. I might have actually already said that. I'm still a bit drowsy. So, admittedly, I am kind of excited about this soup because out of everything that people have had here, the soup is probably one of the better things that I've noticed had a better reaction to. So like when people actually eat it, they actually have this like, oh man, that's actually really nice. All the quarantine videos which I watched, which some were really helpful, others, like, I should say it this way. It wasn't that some were really helpful and others weren't. It's that all of them were helpful, just to only a certain extent. None of them actually gave the experience that I experienced, particularly because I just, the shock of not having, like, not being able to get to this hotel when I wanted this hotel, that was a big shocker for me. But anyhow, let's give this a shot. Oh yeah, that's so nice. I don't know. So I'm gonna go with that. This is potato soup, and it's just your standard like homemade potato soup. It's really nice. Has a bit of a sweet flavor to it, and you could. I mean, I don't really want to say you could really taste the potato, but in my mind, that's what it is. It's you could really taste the potato because maybe this is actually not potato soup. It's like turnip soup or something like that, and I'm just getting that wrong. But it's good, and I think that's all that matters. Nice. So I wonder if this bread is actually filled with anything, or if it's just a plain bread. Because if it's not filled with anything, I'm gonna dip it into the soup. Feeling it, it feels like it's filled, and it's filled. Yeah. There's definitely butter in there. I can feel the grease on my tongue. But I wonder if that's like sugar or if there's a jam in there because there's something sweet along with that. Yeah, a lot of sweet stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this soup before diving into the other things since this is the only hot one. And I'll be right back in just a moment. So yeah. All right, and we're back. Soup was delicious. Go with the boiled egg next, which I'm just cracking right here. So, put the camera aside. No, it's funny, I've watched a lot of these Korean variety shows, and eating an egg over here, particularly like a hard-boiled egg, a lot of people are doing it all over the place, and maybe I'm just the weird one because, like I said, I'm a homebody, but typically I crack eggs over sinks, the kitchen sink, the one with the disposal, and that's where I peel them. Like, if I've ever ordered a hard-boiled egg out of the house, which is rare, they typically already come pre-peeled for me. Is that just me being a spoiled Californian? Yeah, it's, no, because in Japan, when I get hard-boiled eggs, I mean, yeah, they already come pre-peeled. I'm trying to remember, whenever I've ordered one. And I'm not talking about, like, inside a ramen either. I'm talking, like, straight up just a hard-boiled egg, which is different. It reminds me of a story of when I was in Kyoto, one of the first times that I was ever traveling in Japan. traveling with a buddy, and she was kind of a picky eater. She probably still is. I wouldn't be surprised. But we were at this restaurant in Kyoto. I'm not. It's not your typical restaurant. It's not like you go in and sit down and they come take your order or whatever. It was one of those, I like to call them worker restaurants. It's where you typically see a worker from like some sort of construction site or something go to. It was a vending machine restaurant. And as bad as that sounds in America, or if you've seen Mad Men, you might think it's like, oh yeah, you go to the vending machine, put the money in, open the the glass door and pull out your sandwich or whatever on a plate or whatever back in the 60s or 50s, whatever that was. No, it's a vending machine restaurant where you go and you hit a button and a ticket falls out, and then you go to a cafeteria counter and you put the ticket onto the counter, and the cook behind the counter will grab it, look at it, and then go grab the ingredients and cook it for you. Or if it's like more like a buffet style, they'll scoop it onto a plate and put it back on the counter. You grab it, put it on your tray, and you go. And she only wanted a bowl of rice. Now, I couldn't read Japanese at this time, or none of us could read Japanese at this time. And she ended up looking for it on the photo for the vending machines. There'd be a photo and then the name underneath it. And the whole reason why I'm bringing up the story is that she made a mistake and bought. It was only like $1, so that's like what you'd think like a bowl of rice would cost, particularly at those times. And she grabbed her ticket and went, and I'm like, okay. And then I did my meal selection, and my sister did hers, and et cetera, et cetera. But she went up, put her ticket on the counter, and the cook guy came by, grabbed the ticket, looked at her, looked at the ticket, looked at her, kind of just shrugged it off, and then grabbed a raw egg, cracked it, put it in a bowl, and put it on the counter and walked away. It was hilarity. And my buddy, she was just there going, what? But that was it's pretty nuts. So being careful when you order an egg, right? We didn't know what to do with it. It was just a raw egg. And the dude didn't even give it to us in the shell. He just cracked it and put it in the bowl and then put the bowl up. That was so. Anyhow, it is not the prettiest, but it is a hard-boiled egg. I mean, if you don't like eggs, this is bad. So, it's delicious. One note I wanted to make. The soup was lukewarm, maybe a little bit more than lukewarm, and I'm pretty sure it's because I get my food first. I don't know if there's someone above me, but I'm on the 16th floor, and the view outside is just gorgeous. Like, it's really nice. And I think I mentioned in the room video that I have the corner room, so there's no one behind me. There's no not customer, but there's no hotel room guest there. And so I'm pretty sure that they start from the top and work their way down, because they noted that food delivery gets done at 8 and finishes by 8:30. And at 7:45, 7:46-ish is when I got the doorbell ring. At about 8:15, they announced that all the food has been delivered. So, or yeah, they did it while I was prepping the coffee, which, as of note, I do believe it's 2 coffees. The Nescafe is either like a hot cocoa or a coffee, because when I ripped it open, it wasn't a white creamer, it was brown. So I'll try that in the next cup. If that doesn't work out, then I'll just dump it and learn from that experience. But yeah, this is just the Maxwell, and I didn't film it. I'll do it tomorrow if it comes again, but it already has sugar in it, which that's weird for me because I'm typically a black coffee drinker only. Like, I drink it straight up, I think is how Phil's coffee would say it. Yeah, so anyhow, let's finish the egg and dig into the sandwich. Go again. So, cracking into it here, I think it's a chicken sandwich with a lot of Dijon mustard. Let's go ahead and take a bite. Didn't actually get any chicken on that bite, but the cheese is salty. There's like cheddar cheese in here. Okay. Has a slight, like, barbecue flavor. Curious. It's all right. I wouldn't order it again, but it's good enough to fill, and it's not bad. I think that's the big thing. Oh, and the whole hotel corner top room story just now. I think I'm the first one to get my food, so if the food's gonna come hot, I think I'm gonna be one of the first ones to get actually hot food. We'll see about that with the next couple of meals. Also, when I was downstairs yesterday doing the check-in process, they did ask, did I have any food preferences, and I just said no, whatever is fine. I do wonder if that's gonna come back to bite me in the end. But obviously, I'm not going to go through this quarantine thing again, at least for a while. And so I don't know if I might have should have just chose like get chicken and beef dishes only or Western dishes only. This hotel, which is the Golden Tulip, they actually give you quite a few options, which is kind of cool. I didn't see any of the other people that are going through quarantine have any options like that. Got a bite of tomato in that one. Those actually made the sandwich a lot nicer. Gonna finish this up, move to the next box, and we'll be right back. All right, final part of this meal, really. I have to say, I do find it funny. Apparently, a lot of people complain about the size of this meal. I wonder if it was early on that people were complaining about the size of the meal. Because I'm getting to this box of fruit here and the cake, and I'm quite full. So, like, I feel quite satisfied. It could also be that I'm not much of a breakfast person, so. Okay. Wow. It's a really nice apple juice. Apple drink, rather. It's like slightly sour rather than just the sweet apple juice that I'm used to. It's weird because it's Del Monte, so I just thought it'd be like a sugar bomb, but yeah, good enough. Alright, let's go ahead and crack into cake deal here. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, oh, nice. That is a regular cake with a like centimeter and a half of blueberry cream. That tastes really nice. Yeah, this chocolate thing looks really weird. At least I think it's chocolate. Let's take a sip of the coffee. Okay, admittedly, I put too much water in that. It tastes like a really watered down coffee. I mean, I know it's instant, so it probably should already taste watered down, but still. It's like white chocolate on the outside with a chocolate, like a real light mousse on the inside. Yeah, solid. Asian desserts, man. That's where it's at. All right. I mean, and finally the fruits. I'm not expecting anything too much out of this. As in, they're gonna just be delicious. Because if you don't like fruit, you won't like it. And if you like fruit, they're gonna be great. Because I've not really had bad fruit in Asia. Hmm. Delicious, just like I thought it would be. I bit into it cautiously, thinking that there were gonna be seeds in there. But I guess seedless grapes have finally made it over here, or maybe they've been here for a while and I just didn't know. But seedless grapes, nice. The apple, ooh, almost lost that. Yep, apple's just another good apple. And then this orange. The orange is an orange. No surprise. But yeah, let this run long enough. I'm gonna go ahead and just finish my food here, and then we'll check back in with what I plan to do next, whether it be studying or I should probably send an email off to work to let them know that I'm alive or call my mom or something. So we'll check back in here in a moment. I think this whole quarantine video will just be one long video because there's not much I'm gonna really be able to film inside of the room. Be back in a moment. All right, and so it's been a couple hours now. I think I had breakfast at about 8 a.m. It's now 9:45-ish. And they asked me at 10 o'clock and at 5 o'clock of every day to take my temperature, which they gave me a thermometer. This was already in the room prior to me getting here. It was on a desk. And so I will go ahead and take the temp and provide that. This is probably one of the things I was most concerned about when I got here. Because if I was going to do the at home or Airbnb type of deal, I don't know how I was supposed to get a thermometer. Oh, random. Okay, I was complaining at breakfast that I didn't have napkins, but here. So, just the camera here. Take it off. I think I actually messed that up. I think. Yeah, okay. Napkins. So I just didn't know that there was napkins there. And then just FYI, the thermometer was right here. So I just picked it up just now and brought it over to this area. So, but yeah, I'll go ahead and take my temp and then input it into the app. Because I'm not familiar with how many like personal items are on the app, I'm just gonna skip it, but I was just going to make note that I have no idea if I was to take up that guy at the immigration. Like yesterday when I was at the airport and I was doing all these weird things, I didn't know if that was actually going to be, for example, the first guy who's like, oh yeah, you could go quarantine at an Airbnb if you want. What would have happened at the next check-in center? Would he have given me like a sticker or a piece of paper or something? Also, in every other video that I've seen, you get this piece of paper, this small piece of paper that says that you're good to go. I never received that piece of paper, so I don't know if things have changed because of the new visa process, the new online visa, electric visa process that you need to go through, but I wonder if I would have gotten a piece of paper at that point saying he's good to go. He could just leave and take one of the taxis from here. And just a note, depending on how people like to get their money here or abroad, I'm personally of the sense of I just call my bank, let them know that I'm going abroad, and then I just withdraw it. And I use a bank that has 0 ATM fees and 0 exchange rate fees. So I get the money for whatever the ATM is putting out that day, whatever that, I think they run by weeks actually, whatever that week's rate is for that bank. There are a ton of ATMs at the airport that you could use here at Incheon, and because of, even though like I was quarantined in a certain zone, they actually let you leave the zone as long as you promise to go back to the zone. So don't be a dick, just politely tell them that you're going to be leaving the quarantine zone to go grab like your little internet deal, which I think it's right here. I don't know if I showed it or not, but it's try to cover up most of the information there. It's right there. Just this little internet deal and we're good to go. But anyhow, do the temp, answer the quiz questions. I'll report it back when I have to do it again later tonight. And if I could show it, I'll show it. Like if there's no personal information that I have to worry about. Anyhow, I will see you in a moment. Okay, and I have moved things back around and we're good to go. So, let's check out what we got this time around. Just a note, I do expect them to interrupt me in the middle of this meal with an announcement that's going to be in like 7 different languages about how lunch has been served. Alright, I'm going to assume that we got Asian food this time because I got chopsticks and a spoon this time around. Oh, I should go grab napkins. Okay, and the first thing we have here is a cup of rice. So, I don't know if that'll focus in or not, but hopefully that will be able to be seen. Bottle of water. I think I'm going to have to call them for more water, particularly when I actually start making coffee. I believe this is a cider. Yes, Chilsang cider. It's funny how I say I believe it's a cider because this is the first thing I saw. And so then you turn it around and ta-da! It is in English. I'm actually gonna put this in the fridge and grab the Coke that I got last night out, and so that way I could have a cold cider rather than a hot one. Also, it's not alcoholic. You know, it's funny. I actually brought like bottles of wine and alcohol for my friends here in Korea because I want to give it to them and their families, like their parents and whatnot. I totally like bummed. I forgot to bring beer for myself or anything like that. Not that it's hard to get beer in Korea. It's just that I could have had some alcohol while in quarantine. But that's beside the point. They gave a soup. I'll crack it open here and flip over to the other camera to put some layover footage here because I don't want to spill the soup. Looks like a miso soup. Like I really don't know how to explain it other than that. It's just a slightly brown soup and looks good. Now, admittedly, this one feels cold, so might not be as warm as it could be. And like I said in the last part of this video, that I do expect my room to get some of the first foods because I heard the guy drop the food. That's kind of like stirred me. I wasn't really sleeping hard, I guess you could say, or napping hard. I just was kind of having my eyes closed. And I heard the food drop, and then I heard the next guy over get his food drop. So, and then I do have a main bento, but that's it in the bag. And I think I'm just going to use the bag of the trash bag, put it into that quarantine trash bag. Again, portions look great. Get this other camera here. Looks like saba? Mackerel. I think that's the English word for it, but it's popular in Japanese bento boxes. And we have kimchi, the mung bean kimchi, I guess it is. I think these are chicken nuggets and maybe fish cakes. I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out when I actually eat it. Salad. I think that's probably the dressing right there. And then we have a lemon to go with the fish. And as I said before, there is the interruption for the food being delivered. I don't actually know if this picked it up or not. I might actually have the volume quite tight on this system. I might have caught it on the other camera just now, but because I'm turning it on and off, you might not actually have heard the whole thing. But I believe it went from Korean to English to Chinese to Japanese, and then it finishes off with Russian, would be my guess. A Cyrillic language, I think it is. But pretty much it is, your food has been dropped off in front of your door. Please take your time and enjoy it. So let's go ahead and dig into this here. Oh, it smells good. Like I said before, I'm not starving. So for, the fact that it just smells good is a good sign, I would say. So mackerel is one of those oilier fishes, and I would say that if you're not into fish, this is probably one of the ones that you'd want to avoid eating. I got used to eating it in Japan when I was living there, so. Alright, so yes, the dipping sauce, or the sauce that was next to the fish, is a dressing for the salad. So I will go ahead and just put that aside. Let's go ahead and crack into this. I think I'll just put the spoon aside, probably to scoop out the coffee grinds. I'll say it again later, but when you guys watch me, or anybody watches me make this coffee, please forgive me. I didn't bring my scales, nor did I bring my grinder, and I didn't want to pack a grinder. I just figured if I pre-ground everything. The coffee game here in Korea is supposed to be really strong, just like it is over in Japan. I really did all of that. I measured up about 20 cups of fresh coffee that I could make in an AeroPress here in quarantine. After that, the AeroPress is pretty much just useless weight and will sit in my suitcase from that point forward, unless I could find a place that I could go get good ground coffee from. But I'd probably just end up just staying there anyways and just drinking a cup of coffee there and ignoring the rest, or just going with Insta Coffee, which I brought probably 200 cups worth. But oh, yeah, they didn't include coffee in this meal. That's kind of weird. Or tea. Not that I'm complaining, it's just I thought they would have. Alright, I'm going to start off with the fish, which kind of wondering, speaking to my mother earlier, and she wanted me to take photos of all the food before I devoured it. Although I have video of it. Let me take a quick photo for her, because being that she's not ever gone through quarantine or plans to go through quarantine, she's quite curious as to what I'm going through. So hopefully she'll watch this video and kind of learn what my process is on getting through quarantine. I was talking to a Korean friend who ironically lives like a mile away from where I'm at right now. He was shocked to hear that I was in the town that he lives in. Oh yeah, I should correct the town. I'm in Yongin. Yongin-shi. I believe "shi" is the word for town in or city in Korean. Don't take that as gospel, I think is the best way to say it. I just hear it after a lot of town names, and typically when I'm writing it down, I don't have to write down "she." So when I'm writing it, half the time I see "she" behind the name, and the other half I don't. It's kind of how you just pick up on languages, if you know what I mean, where you see a common word being used over and over and over. In German, I believe the word Platz is square. So whenever you go to any Platz, it's a square. You know, other words are kind of easy. I would say like kaban in Korean means bag, being that I know Japanese decently enough. Kaban in Japanese means bag. Like shojiki means honestly or truthfully. So like if you were to say in all honesty, this is how it should be, that's shojiki. And it's the same thing in Japanese. Well, the pronunciation is very similar. I actually have a very hard time hearing the differences. Here's my phone. I'm gonna take a photo, put it on my line chat to my mom so that she could see what I'm eating. Randomly, I learned from MKBHD that when you're using your phone as a camera, which I rarely do because I mean I have like 5 cameras in this room right now, that if you actually select the point of where you want to take the photo, like where you want the main focus of the photo to be, the exposure is better and the focus is clearer. Cool. Anyhow, let's go ahead and dig into this fish. Cool. It looks like a fillet, meaning that it's deboned. Of course, being that it is fish, always be cautious, right? Solid flavor. Food is decent. It's cold. Straight, yeah, it's just cold. Rice is cold. Oh, maybe this is kimchi soup. Yeah, that is not a miso soup. That is like some sort of kimchi jjigae maybe? Stew. Has a little kick to it. You could feel it, but I mean, if you're really sensitive to spicy, that might be spicy, but really it's not spicy. Anyhow, the fish is cold, but it's good. So, I mean, I'm a flavor eater, not a texture eater, so I'm okay with that. Here's the kimchi. Oh, yeah. Kimchi is great. And then the mung bean. It's good. And then what I thought was a chicken nugget. Okay, so it tastes like a McDonald's chicken nugget. But here's the crazy thing. I'm like looking at the inside of it. I want to change my answer to it looks like a katsu, like a pork katsu, but it tastes like a McDonald's chicken nugget. Yeah. All right. And this thing is stuck together, so I'm just going to pull it up like that. Looking at it, this could be fish cake or it could be a tofu. So let me take a bite. Sorry. It's a starch of some sort, like taro root or like sweet potato or a potato. I want to say this is closer to, oh, what's it called? The Japanese name is slipping me. It's the gray kind of sweet potato gelatinous type of jelly thing that they make. Oh, they use it in horror shows all the time and it stinks. Tastes great, but it just smells bad when it's just raw. Well, it's not even raw, it's cooked already. But when it's like in its rawest form, I guess, before you actually put it into the oden soup or whatnot, it's definitely some sort of starch that is here. It's pretty bland. Has a little bit of chili flavor to it. Not flavor, I'm sorry. Like tingliness on the tongue. And then vegetables here are great. Then we got the salad. I'll just dip into the sauce. Or was it dressing? Yeah, it's good. And that is the meal. Decent enough. The food is cold this time around. Maybe not a good sign being that this is the third meal. Technically, the cup noodles was the first last night. But the second meal of my first day in quarantine. But I'm okay with it as long as it tastes good. I would say that if you're coming here and you're not into fish, to not do the fish. To like, if they give you the option at the hotel, like what meat do you want? If you just check that you don't want fish, it doesn't mean you're not going to get just Western food. They actually gave that option first. They said, are you okay with Western or Korean food? And I said yes. And then they're like, what meats are you okay with? Or they began with, are you a vegetarian? No, I'm not. And then they asked, are you okay with any meats? Pork, chicken, fish, steak? And I said, yes, I am fine with all of it. Tried to be as least picky as possible because I wanted the fullest experience, but I will go ahead and put this out there right now, that if there is anything that anyone is not fond of, to just say, no, I don't want it. Again, I feel the food is plentiful. I'll probably supplement this meal with the 2 breads that I got last night, just because I kind of want to get rid of those. I'll do kind of an unboxing of my luggage to show kind of the snacks that I brought, because I did bring quite a bit of snacks as well. But so far so good. I have the TV set up. Here, I could actually just show it. So I have the TV set up to where my laptop is connected. There. And it's just connected to the back of the TV. And then they have a cable box right here, which I can't get to work right now, but I think that's because I have my laptop plugged in, and then that's my router, like my own router. So I kind of wish that I brought my Chromecast, and then I could have just streamed everything across. That would have been awesome. So if you have a Chromecast, bring it, just in case you might be able to do something like this. And I mean, I have this whole little kit that I call a tech package. I'll go through that as well at a later time after I finish eating. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw something else on the television, maybe some Netflix or something, finish my lunch, and yeah, get with it. So I'll check back in a moment. Alright, so just a brief update. I just finished my lunch, and it was the mackerel, the saba. I just wanted to make note. I said that there was no bones in it, but there actually is bones. I don't know if that's why they gave this style of chopsticks with the sharper tips. Typically, that's more of a Japanese style where that's how you pick out bones easily. Maybe I'm looking too far into it. I'm also watching the Demon Slayer movie. It's on Netflix over here. And it's in Japanese, not just Korean, so I could actually watch it, which is kind of nice. Overall, lunch was good. It is now 12:30, so took me about a half an hour to eat everything here. I cracked into the Coke. I'll probably have a sip of water, and then I'm probably gonna make... Oh, I have the other coffee that I already opened that I want to make and try, so I'll give that a shot. And then we'll look into kind of offloading some of the stuff. Maybe I'll go through the suitcases. I don't know what I'll do next, but I have 14 days to figure it out, I guess, right? I don't want to unload everything because then I just have to put it back in, so some deep thought that's going to have to be going into that. Anyhow, I'll be back in a moment. Alright, and we're back. The water actually just finished up there, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here so I don't let it get too cold. So I did bring a this is instant coffee. Let's grab the ground one. Ground coffee, and as you can see, it's in a Blue Bottle coffee bag, although it is not Blue Bottle coffee. It's another brand that I enjoy, and my mom found it. It's a vanilla type bean. It smells amazing. So actually, I think the first thing I need to do is grab a filter. One of my favorite things about this method that James Hoffman came up with is the fact that you don't need to pre-wet the filter. You can just, it's really just a grab and go situation. So this is probably going to be the biggest part where we differ. I spent a lot of time at my house eyeballing how much to put in. He actually did this whole test on, like, can you accurately put in the same amount of coffee from one place to another, from one bowl to another, and they measured it. And they showed some people were actually really accurate, some people weren't, so it's really not... you couldn't prove anything, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, it just smells so good. It's all pre-ground, unfortunately, but whatever it is, what it is. Let's go ahead and... Should have brought a spoon, but... Can do a little bit more. And I think that's too much. Yeah, that's a bit much. Okay. Well, I'll use this as my measuring spoon from now on, but I do know that maybe I need to just put one heaping spoon of this in rather than the two spoons, the two smaller spoons that I did. So just throw that in there with the coffee, seal that back up, put that away. Grab my boiled water over here. And then this part, I'm just going to go ahead and pour in. He would be using a timer and a scale. I don't really have the scale. I mean, I guess technically I do have a timer, but I also know pretty much where I want to get to, right about there. Put that there. Set a 2-minute timer over here. Okay, Google, set a 2-minute timer, please. Awesome, so now I'm going to wait 2 minutes for the coffee to infuse. Then I'm going to kind of give it a quick swirl to break up anything that got caught on the top, and hopefully that all falls to the bottom. And then I'll wait another 30 seconds before pressing down. And that is his method. So I will come back in 2 minutes rather than waiting for it, and we'll get that going. So I already set the 30-second timer, and that's it. So I've already stirred it. The 2 minutes have already gone by, and that alarm that just went off was the 30-second timer. So I'll go ahead and press slowly and consistently. I'm gonna just be really upset if this ends up being like a bad cup of coffee. Alright, so there we go, everything is done. Pull back a little bit to stop the dripping. Put that aside, and well, it smells amazing, and I mean, it looks great. It's a medium to light roast. They put that it's a light roast on the bag, but looking at the bean, it looks like a medium roast, really. So a little under boiling is fine typically, I feel, at least for my taste. And this is, it smells just like it's supposed to. It's way too hot to really drink right now, but let me see if I can get a taste of it. Ah, yes. Perfect. That's so great. Sorry, this light above me is actually light sense motioned. It's the only light that I can't control. It just pops on and off all the time. But yeah, it is what it is. So that tastes amazing hot. So it's going to taste even better when it cools down in a moment or two here. So I guess coffee making is totally in the books, and I could follow a very similar recipe to what I just did, and hopefully that will guide me to having at least 20 cups of coffee, so I could have a little less than 2 a day, since I'm here for 14 days technically. I guess technically the last day I can't do it because I have to be packed up and downstairs and out of here. So AeroPress is such an easy way to get some fresh coffee while I'm here, and it definitely does lift the spirits, although being that today's day 1, I don't really think my spirits needed to be lifted. Just wanted a good cup of coffee. Anyhow, I'll probably check back at dinner time. All right, and the note just came by. I don't know if the speaker is going to interrupt me while I'm in it, because I've actually been waiting. I was doing some stuff on the computer, trying to move over movie files and stuff from the memory cards, but food has come by. The guy has rang the doorbell. He did it at 42-ish, 5:42. It's I have no idea what time it is now. 49. So it's been sitting there for about 5 minutes. So let me go grab the food and come back, and we'll go ahead and do the unboxing gear up, and I will use this camera to go grab the food. So, all right, got that going, and let's go grab it. Trash over there. Yep, and there it is. All right, grab the food. Well, it looks like I do have a neighbor. Door is closed. Got the food. Go ahead and put it back down on the table. Get resituated here. And turn that off. That off to the side real quick. Take off my mask. Just gonna wash my hands, so I'll be right back. All right, and let's go ahead. All right, all washed up now. Let's go ahead and crack this guy open and see what we got this time around. Okay, 1 bottle of water, 2 bottles of water, bowl of rice again, and a yogurt. Pretty awesome. Another soup. I'll use the other camera to film what's actually inside there. It looks like a clear soup this time, though. Chopsticks and utensils again. Oh, and this time it looks like a bulgogi bento. Don't know why I'm putting it down there. Could put it up here. So yeah, it's another bento box, and then I'll get a closer viewing of that in just a second here. I'm gonna rearrange everything on the table, and no soda or anything this time around. So just a very easygoing dinner. We'll go ahead and grab that. Let's see, let's just try to crack all this open. And I do wish they gave me more drinks than just the yogurt and the 2 waters, because I'm definitely gonna be able to kill off all the water I have in my room tonight. I'll probably give them a call to see if I could just get water in general. Wow, that smells really nice. It's just a clear broth tofu soup, but that smell is really really strong. And then let's crack open the bento. Okay, put that aside. That on top of there. Crack open the rice. Put that right there. And then, as said before, go ahead and give another view of what I'm digging in here. So we have the rice, the soup, which is this clear broth soup with tofu in it. We have a pickle kimchi, a daikon kimchi, kind of look like beans of some sort, not really sure. I forget the name of these, but these greens are actually super nice when they're pickled. They have them in Japan too, if I'm not mistaken. And then this looks like a crab salad. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, we'll find out in a moment. And then we have the bulgogi looking thing with mushrooms and steak and onions. So, yeah. All right. Oh, and then there is the yogurt that I was talking about. But looks good. Let me get that photo that I was talking about. I don't know how people wear this mic comfortably. This is something new for me. Or not new, but I've had it for a while and I've never actually really worn it. So trying to make it to where it just doesn't flip as often. I think my neighbor just woke up and went to go grab his lunch or dinner. Let's go ahead and dig in. That photo took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Okay, I guess I was wrong earlier about the chopsticks. This is probably just the set that the bento comes with. All right, and let's give this a taste. Kind of really curious about these pickles. So there we go. It's just your normal cucumber kimchi. It has a little bit of spice to it, and I mean, a good flavor. And then the daikon, or the, I think, white radish kimchi. This is actually one of my favorites. And it does not disappoint. The announcement's about to go off, so sounds like they're having an issue with it, but all right. And then this black bean thing. It's a lot saltier than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if the mic's actually picking it up. It's very, very quiet. Still in the Chinese right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this, these greens. It's just like a stewed spinach. So anyhow, the greens, it tastes like collard greens. It tastes like collard greens, so I mean, it's good. I'm actually a fan of it, so pretty awesome. And then the crab salad. Let's go ahead and give this a shot. Yeah, it's good. Just a little sweet, little savory. I don't think it's actual crab. I think it's the imitation crab. Man, for imitation crab, though, it has a real good feel. So pretty impressive. And then finally the bulgogi. Yeah, it's good. Beef. It tastes like beef. The food is cold, not freezing. I would say it's room temp. The soup is slightly sweet, slightly savory. It's exactly as it kind of smells, if that makes any sense. But it's good. I'm happy with it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this meal. You could buy these all over the world, so I don't really think it's necessary to really go over what it is or what it tastes like. I'm just gonna save it as the yogurt. They're probiotic drinks as well, so they help you digest food, and they're actually great, and they taste really good. I believe one of my favorite ways to actually get this drink is in a soju cocktail. This is the yogurt flavor typically. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a movie and finish eating dinner watching that. Oh, I will make a quick note. So I have to create some sort of system because I was told to put in my submit my temperature and how I'm feeling twice a day, 10 and 5. I mean, there is definitely leeway, and they just want you to do it twice a day, but it was 5:30 before I actually did the the second check-in. I totally like forgot. I was just so on video editing that I totally forgot to do it. I'll have to set an alarm on the daily just to make sure that I don't forget to do that again, because that could definitely be bad. I don't want any fines or penalties or anything to happen. It's been a bumpy enough ride to get here. You know, I'd rather the next bumps that I incur be more along the lines of getting to a place and it's closed because COVID times or something. That I'll talk about later. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish my dinner and throw on another flick. I'm about to lose the rest of my sunlight here, so I do have the lights on in the room again. It's been an easygoing first day. I have no complaints. Everything is just, it's good. So I don't think I'll check in for the rest of the night, but if anything happens. Oh, and tomorrow when I wake up and do the test deal, there's no personal information that I really noticed on it, so I think I could actually just do a screen cap of what I'm doing, and then I'll talk through it so that I could actually have some footage of that. I think the only thing sensitive on there is my phone number, but it's my Korean phone number, so no biggie. Good night, and I'll probably see you in a moment, because I believe I'm going to make this quarantine video just one long video rather than like 5-minute shorts. Anyhow, I'll see you in the next one.